Yeah, let's just get into it. I know why you're here. Chalice Dungeons, FIST of Gratia only, let's do this. So, I had actually already done part of the first dungeon for when I needed to set up the to get some echoes, but for the sake of completion, I figured I would just erase it and start over. Well, that's a good sign. It absolutely won't last. Just like with the last two FIST of Gratia videos, I'm going to let live me do the talking during the fights, but unlike those videos, editing me won't really have a lot to say. I mean, for the most part, all I did was sprint through the relatively short dungeons, pull a lever, and then went straight to the boss. There will be a couple of times I deviate from that, but the majority of this will be live me rambling on about how, and then I punched the boss 300 times. So, without further ado, the Undead Giant. Alright, the Undead Giant, he's definitely there. I mean, as you can see, I'm just kind of standing in his way, and I'm still just... Listen, I'm gonna be real, the first few fights in this are nothing, even though I'm still using the, the shit of Gratia. I'm so ridiculously overleveled in the fact that the weapon is maxed. The first, like, what, 6-ish bosses, I just face tank. Like, there's no strategy. I just walk in and punch it until it's dead, and that's it. Like, what, this has been like a minute? This is great. This is the only time where the Fist of Gratia actually looks good. Boy, that sure was riveting gameplay, wasn't it? Hope you're in the mood for more. Like, a lot more of that. Alright, the Merciless Launchers. Once again, it is a case of just walking up to them and hitting them. I mean, look at that. What, 1, 2, 3, 4... Come on, you can do it, me. You can do it. 5, 6 hits. That launcher took 6 hits. Even, I mean, it's not... These first few bosses are not a threat. I don't think there's another Merciless Watcher fight in this run, but there's another Undead Giant fight, and that one's a tiny bit tougher, but yeah, no, these first few fights, it's kind of nice. The commentary is not going to just be, oh, did I hit the boss a million times? It's only hit the boss 18 times. What was this one? Yes, the Watchdog. Oh, we'll get to you, Mr. Watchdog. Yes, we will. This version of the Watchdog, not terribly hard. I didn't remember how to fight this boss, like, at all, but again, look at how much damage I'm doing per hit. That's like a normal... That amount of damage looks like the amount of damage you would do to Cleric Beast, like in a normal run. But as you can see, I just tanked the explosion because I kind of forgot there was an explosion. I rolled into that attack. Like, I had no idea what I was doing here. I basically was just like, yeah, it's fine, the boss can't hurt me, just stick near him and punch it to death. But don't worry, this fight comes back to haunt me. But yeah, so I'm going to take the rest of this little encounter to apologize. You might have noticed, and if you haven't, it will become extremely prevalent by the end of the video. I was fighting a cold while doing the voiceover. In fact, I'm still technically at the tail end of that cold, and so you might hear it in my voice. I'm sorry, I don't like recording when I'm sick, but this has been going for like 2 weeks, and I just like can't not do something. I have to work, so I apologize if you hear the nose things. It's not, I don't like it, you probably don't like it, and hey look, the Watchdog didn't like that. Haha, get slaughtered. Okay, what's the next boss? Central Thumaru Chalice obtained, and since I kept my echoes, I actually now had enough to level up 1 time. A lot of help that does. Don't mind me just pulling a lever. Honestly, the nerve of some monsters to guard a lever then be mad when a stranger tries to pull it. The Beast-Possessed Soul. Looking at the timeline of this fight, this took a little bit longer. Not looking at that health though. I think it took a little bit longer because it kept doing that. It kept dodging backwards, so it just prolonged the fight. Which is more just of an annoyance than anything else. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage to me, which is great. I'm glad that I stacked Vitality, which, believe me, in the later encounters, I'm really glad I stacked Vitality. But yeah, this boss just kept dodging backwards, and there was nothing. Getting it up against the wall like this was probably my best decision, because now it can't go backwards. So this is the first fight that has an air quotes strategy in it, right? I just decided, oh, keep its back to a wall, which I am now not doing, but But that's it. It was literally just walk towards it and hit it, because every hit staggered it, so I didn't need to worry about it usually retaliating. I say as it's currently beating the shit out of me. But yeah, easy fight is easy. You know, I haven't done the Chalice dungeons in like a decade, literally one time for the Platinum, but honestly, I kind of enjoy it. Maybe just because it feels like new, but also familiar. I don't really expect to add it to my challenge runs, but hey. Okay, so this is the first fight where it took a while, so I needed to actually speed it up, and here we see I switched to 1.5 times. First off, I'm gonna quickly apologize. These arenas kind of fucking suck. Like, playing it even normally, the camera is not great in this place. This one, maybe not so bad because it's short because of the speed up, but the one that's later, the Keeper of the Old Lords that's later in the run, so many times the camera like tried to clip through the chandelier in the arena, and it was just annoying the hell out of me. So it's probably going to look even worse at a sped up rate, and I apologize for that. But even for this fight, I didn't really have a strategy. The bosses are starting to do a bit more damage to me, not enough for it to be an immediate threat. But really it was just walk towards the boss and hit it. Okay, maybe I was wrong about the damage. I thought it was doing a lot of damage to me. They're still kind of not. Maybe I haven't hit that point yet. But yeah, this fight, there is a strategy that I have to use later, but for this version of the encounter, walk forward and hit L2. That's all I did. Oh, sorry everyone, I didn't see that you had returned. I was busy playing my game, The Joy of Hand Watching, a short horror-themed clicker available on Steam. Also, I have nothing else to add to this video right now. I am literally just sprinting looking for switches and doors. What is this one? Is this the... Oh, it's the Thumerian Descendant. Okay, so... this one also gives me trouble in the future version. Just little, I wouldn't even call it a spoiler. Everybody knows these fights kind of suck. But... for here, once again, I was trying to find a strategy, because I knew I would have to fight this guy again, and most of the Fist of Gratia's go-to strategy for human-ish enemies is to get 1 or 2 attacks in, and then back off, because they usually want to like jump away like that, or they might have a fast attack. Unfortunately, I did not find the strat I wanted in this encounter, which subsequently meant that in the future encounter it took like 800 tries. But this one was not a hard fight. Mostly because he doesn't do any damage to me. Like, he can hit me, and he can hit me a lot, but it doesn't really hurt. Like, look at that. That was, what, like a 1/7 of my health bar? Even less, maybe? And then I could rally back because he gets staggered with every hit. It's not... The Fist of Gratia sort of works against humanoid bosses, but there's just better options, which I'll talk about a little later, but... It is kind of nice to be able to just, like, hit them and then be like, haha, I'm stunned now, and oh, hey, look, he's dead. Unfortunately, because I've been ignoring the actual exploration of these dungeons, I do not have the materials to craft the next chalice, so I return to the deepest level of the previous one and, well, run around looking for materials. I got 1 as a drop from this snatcher, and 2 from this treasure chest, 4 from this chest, then 1 more from this snatcher, giving me the 9 that I need. 1 layer deeper we go. Oh hey look, there was another Merciless Watcher fight. I'm just stupid, I guess. It's not hard, it's the same as the first fight, they just have more health, and I'm not going to count how many hits it was this time, but as you can see, I'm now up to 2 times speed, just because these fights start to take quite a while. Especially, I mean, this one, not a super long time, because they don't have a lot of health. I mean, there's 3 of them, I guess, but overall, they don't have a lot of health, but like the later fights. Oh my god, the later fights are just long and awful with this weapon. This is a terrible, terrible weapon to use. But I didn't have a strategy here either. I did at one point decide that I wanted to focus down this one because it was the one that was already mostly dead. So I'm like, let's, remove 1 of the pieces from the board and just kill him. And try and, I guess I tried to go for the gun watcher because it was annoying that he would occasionally hit me with pellets from across the map while I was trying to kill the other one. But also, if I remember correctly, something kind of interesting happened in this fight. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it wasn't this encounter, but... Was it this one? Maybe it was this one. Wait, was it? Yeah, okay. Like, look at this. For whatever reason, that watcher just stopped reacting. I don't know why. I don't have a clue, like, how that even happened. I'm not complaining, but I would be interested in learning, like, how his AI works. Not that I'll ever have a chance to actually learn that, but it would be cool to see, like, why did he stop moving? What about his AI broke right there? Then when I got close, he re-aggroed, which is fine, but, like, why did that happen, you know? I would like to know that. If anybody has any ideas, please drop them in the comments. Okay, the Undead Giant rematch. So this one I actually had to worry about, because at this point I was not doing a whole lot of damage, and they can kind of hurt me like that. I'm almost dead. What I was trying to do was get behind him and bust his little, like, zit on his butt, because then I think that does a lot of damage. I honestly don't remember. I do it eventually in this fight, so I guess we'll know here in a minute. But what I didn't do was think about how many times I could attack him before I needed to, like, remove myself from the situation. I kept trying to get 2 hits, I think, but it would cost me. He would always do that spin move, because that's his, you know, get off me AoE, and I would get hit by it, because I'm just bullheaded. I'm like, I want to take this boss out, so I just kept trying and trying. At some point, I did learn my lesson. Maybe it was right here. I was like, you know what? I'm no longer wanting to take, what, like a third of my health bar in damage just for getting 1/100th of his health bar in damage. And there I broke his leg, which is nice. I don't honestly remember doing that. But again, this particular fight is not super challenging. The Undead Giant doesn't have a whole lot of attacks to be worried about. Well, I mean, that spin attack is kind of dangerous, but I just have so much health that it's fine for now. But yeah, the strategy was dodge through his attacks and then try and get behind him for 1 or 2 hits, and that was it. At this point in the run, I hadn't thought about trying to break limbs. I mean, I am trying to, just because it's Bloodborne, but, like, I hadn't thought about the importance of breaking limbs, which does come up in a very late fight in this run. So, like, you'll see me going for each independent leg, which is both good and bad. Like, if I can break one leg, he'll go down for a couple seconds, no, I didn't. He'll go down for a second for free damage. If I break the other leg, it happens again. Oh yeah, he did take a bunch of damage from popping that thing. Good. That's kind of what I thought would happen, but brain fart, you know? And then I would switch to try and hit the arms, and the good news is if you consistently break limbs, you can get free damage because they're stunned for a second. The bad news is it's the Fist of Gratia, so the free damage is like fucking nothing. So it's actually better to focus on one limb that's broken and get the extra damage that way, I feel. Because I would do it immediately, right? Like, I would break one leg, get the couple free shots, then switch to the other leg. That is not how you should do it, even in a normal run, honestly, because they don't heal for a few seconds, so you should still aim for the broken limb. But I'm not very smart, okay? I'm doing the Fist of Gratia Chalice dungeons. I'm clearly not a smart man. But Undead Giant was not a terribly hard fight. It just hit him a bunch, like all the bosses. Occasionally, I like to hit some enemies as I run through the area. Just a reminder to myself how much this is going to suck near the end. Okay, so this one is ROM. And fun fact, this is actually where I started to feel like I was sick in the actual playthrough. And I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell because it's not like I'm talking in the actual gameplay, right? That doesn't make sense. But in this fight, I will occasionally stand behind a pillar for an extended period of time, and it's because I had to go, like, take care of my body and blow my nose or whatever. But ROM. Okay, so ROM. I don't consider ROM a hard fight in any run. I consider her annoying little spiders a hard fight occasionally. But like here, ROM Phase 1 obviously is fucking nothing. Once you clear out the spider, she just doesn't do anything. You just punch her repeatedly. Which, hey, it's clearly what I'm doing. Obviously, for the Fist of Gratia, the damage is so low, I cannot... There is no way in hell I would be able to kill ROM before she teleports, so... Hey, look, she teleported. The hard part of this fight is that the arena is tiny, and so there's not a lot of... It's hard to maneuver around to avoid ROM's meteor attacks. I didn't realize until a little ways in that you can actually stand behind the pillars, which is great for me because, like I said, I was sick. So standing behind the pillars, I could dodge that attack and take care of myself. But I was constantly trying to run away and also hit the spiders. It's just not a fun time to fight ROM in this arena. Honestly, it's not a fun time to fight ROM most of the time that you have to fight ROM. But it's the fight, as you all know, is clearing out the spiders, which take, what, like 3? Was that 3 hits, I think? Which isn't terrible, but you don't want to get caught off guard by a bunch of the spiders at once, right? It's a bad time. And I think here... Oh no, maybe there wasn't where my first was like, I gotta go take care of myself. I should do that right now, too. Just in the middle of this live commentary, like, oh, I don't feel good. I kind of don't. I mean, my nose is still fucked up, but the rest of me is mostly fine. I think. Yeah, fun fact, when I was doing this, when I was actually playing the run, I didn't remember that this chalice has 4 bosses instead of 3. And I quit after this fight. Like, I quit out because I had to go take a shower and go to bed or whatever, because I was tired. When I came back, I left the dungeon and was like, okay, I'm going to make the next one, and I didn't have the next chalice, and I'm like, what the fuck do I do? And then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, there's 4 bosses in this dungeon for some fucking reason. Which I think I mentioned in the actual video, probably after this fight, so sorry for those of you that are still tuning in and just, you're going to hear me say it twice. Going to hear me repeat that information. But okay, so second wave of spiders has been cleared out. All I gotta do now is get close to Rom and punch her a lot. Which, now that she can fight back, is slightly more dangerous. I mean, there's nothing she can do that can outright, like, one-shot me, but it definitely... I have definitely been wombo-comboed by Rom before, and I was not interested in having that happen again. Here, it didn't. I made it through phase 2, so now I have to do one more wave of spiders, and she should, you know, at that point, mostly GG's, right? She's just Rom. In fact, there's something, I didn't realize it until the very end of the fight. The Fist of Gratia does the same damage to her sides as it does to her head. I don't know why. I thought she was supposed to be protected in the front like the small... I'm pretty sure the small spiders take less damage from the front, but... For whatever reason, I was doing like 144 at the end of the fight. I was doing 144 to her sides and 144 to her head. And I wish I had known that sooner. It wouldn't have really mattered. Oh, there, I just took a bunch of fucking meteors because of the arena. It's so hard to see her doing what she's doing. But I mean, it didn't really matter that I didn't know that, but it would have been nice because positioning in front of her is slightly safer than positioning to her side because all of the attacks that would hit from her side... Excuse me, all of the attacks that hit in front of her also hit on her side, so those are the same. But she has, like, the flail attack, which I personally think is harder to dodge on the side than if you're in front of her. Maybe if you're right next to her, which in this case I would be. Maybe not, but I don't know. I feel like it is ever so slightly safer to be standing in front of her than it is to be standing at either of her sides. Like that attack right there. That's the one that I'm worried about, like... Standing at her side, that one is not a good thing to be in the way of, but I have a bajillion health, so it didn't really matter. A singular hit didn't really matter. Sorry, I'm still not feeling the greatest. I'm sorry, I apologize. But yeah, Rom's not a hard fight. It's not a great arena. The other repeat boss that's later in the dungeons, that one's kind of a pain in the ass, but Rom is just, you know, kind of meh, so-so. Is it about here that I realized hitting her? Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. 144? Isn't that the same damage from the side? I even checked. Yeah, I was like, yeah. Why the fuck am I hitting her in the side then? I went back to just hitting her in the face. But yeah, that's wrong. This Chalice dungeon is special, at least for the main 5, in that it has 4 bosses instead of 3. Why that's a thing? I have no idea. Also, I'm sure at least one person didn't know this. Invisible wall. I grabbed 3 Ritual Blood 4s from this big chest and another from the smaller one nearby before heading to the final fight of this Chalice, the Bloodletting Beast, which has the honor of being the first boss in these dungeons to kill me. Don't worry, it's not the last. The Bloodletting Beast. Oh boy, this fight. So this, like I said in the script, this is the first boss that managed to kill me. It's not a particularly hard fight. That attack that I just did, the big punch, I fuck up a lot, but most of this encounter, there is a strat that I found, not in this version, but in the second version, that trivializes the fight. I wish I had found it in this version because it would have been even extra hilarious, and you'll see why later. But this is not a terribly hard boss once you realize that attack right there is a good opening. I haven't figured that out yet, but basically when it does that claw swipe, which is not, when it does that claw swipe, you can dodge through it and get an attack in, but that 4 ground pound hit, not that one, that's a good opportunity to get a single swing in. Right there, I had already figured out to dodge through that one, but the 4 ground pound hit, which I'm waiting for him to do, and he's not fucking doing, you can dodge between the 3rd and 4th hit to get like 2 openings, I think, on his legs, which is just good. I mean, it's not a whole lot of damage, but it's good damage. But yeah, there's definitely a strategy I found later in the run that makes this so much easier, and I wish I had figured it out in this encounter. Sorry, a strategy I found in the second version of this fight that I wish I had figured out in this one. I almost did. I almost realized what I needed to do, but I didn't fully connect the dots. Man, that punch fucking hurts, by the way. That was almost all of my health. I might have been dodging, I might have had instability damage, but that is a horribly damaging attack. I cannot think of words right now. But yeah, I unfortunately don't have a whole lot to say else about this boss. I mean, there is something I want to say, but I'm saving it for the other encounter, which I've already said like 8 fucking times. Clearly, I want to say it. Oh yeah, that grab attack, it's brutal too. You the head bit off. I mean, fucking Ozzy Osbourne, rest in peace. But yeah, this fight is not as scary as I thought it was. I remembered not having a good time on the only other time I've ever done the Chalice Dungeons. This boss kicked the shit out of me. And so I was worried I was worried basically for all of the Chalice Dungeon bosses, because I've only done them once, really. But this one in particular, and I think the Keeper, the Temerian Descendant, and the Watchdog were the 4 bosses that I was fucking terrified of. But he ended up not being a huge issue because I was having to take the fight so fucking slow. I slowly learn, you know, what is and isn't safe. I apparently still haven't figured out that the 4-hit combo, like how to actually do it, because I just fucked it up there, but I do learn it eventually, I promise. Yeah, Bloodletting Beast it's kind of fun to see him again, I guess. Yeah, I ain't got nothing else to say about this fight until later. Oh, I got grabbed again. Oh, he bit my head off again and then threw me to the ground. Big pain, mini ouchie. But yeah, sorry. The first few fights were kind of rapid fire because they were so short. We've got to the point where the fights, you know, long enough for me to double time the footage and have to think of things to talk about aside from I punched him a million times. But I hope everyone out there is doing good. I got grabbed again. Hope everyone out there is doing good. JK kept wanting me to do this, and here it is, bro. I hope you enjoy my pain, Mr. Leeds. I hope all of you out there watching enjoy this pain. Like I mentioned, I think I said it, I don't remember when I said it, maybe I already said it, maybe I haven't said it, but I actually did kind of enjoy doing the Chalice Dungeons. I did not enjoy doing it with the FIST of Gratia, but it was kind of fun seeing these new bosses. Well, they are new as far as my challenge runs go, but it was kind of fun to see them and have like something fresh and new, right? And yeah, not gonna add it to my runs, but it was fun. Next up is the Defiled Chalice. Oh boy, I'm so excited! Unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately, I don't have the materials necessary to even make it. In total, I'll need 9 Ritual Blood 4s, 2 Bastards of Loran, and 22 Arcane Haze. Only the Bastards of Loran will be problematic, as those only come from the Lorraine Chalice Dungeons, which I do have the Chalice for, but it requires its own 9 Ritual Blood 4s and 4 Cold Blood Flower Buds. The latter I can just buy, and that's great, but it looks like it's time to farm. It's not too hard, really. There are a couple of Snatchers and a Merciless Watcher close to a Lantern that have a chance to drop them, and before long, it's time to dive into Ailing Lorraine. I do enjoy how the different types of Chalice Dungeons have different, like, aesthetics to them. It's nice. Anyway, the first boss up is the Beast Possessed Soul. Okay, Beast Possessed Soul, take 2. So, same strategy, right? You gotta hit him and he tries to back away. Put him into a corner like that. Unfortunately, he doesn't always go backwards with that dodge, which is the problem. He will sometimes go kind of like that, like this sideways round thing. A sidestep, basically. So, it does become kind of like a gamble to make sure he's actually positioned correctly. Or sorry, not that he's positioned correctly, that I am positioned correctly. Like, if I'm standing directly in front of him, he usually goes backwards, but sometimes he doesn't. And then I have to be aware that, like, oh, he's now behind me, and I'm in the in lag of my attack. And now he's hit me for, what was that, like a third of my health. That was 2 hits, to be fair, but still. He does get pretty close to killing me a couple times because I was not, you know, super afraid of the fight, so I was like, yeah, sure, get up in his face, whatever. Get up in the crazed, fire-wielding beast face. It's fine. It's totally okay. Also, because he staggers, I was like, oh yeah, even if I trade with him, he's not going to be able to continue his combo because I staggered him. Which is not a great way to think about it, but it's not the end of the world either. But it's just walk forward and hit L2 and continue walking forward. There's no real strategy here aside from have, you know, good reaction time if he... Oh, okay, I forgot about that. His jump attack he does not get knocked out of that. Fortunately, he didn't do it very often, and he doesn't really do it if you're next to him. But aside from avoiding the jump attack, the strategy is to walk forward and then have good reflexes if he tries to dodge around you instead of away from you, right? Also stamina management, but that's a constant no matter what you're doing. But yeah, overall, Beast Possessed Soul, neither encounter was terribly difficult. It's just long and slow because the Fist of Gratia is a piece of shit. I do have a slight new appreciation for this weapon, especially after second Bloodletting Beast, the headless version. But every time I think about how this weapon can do something good, I think, oh, a regular weapon can just do the thing better. The only thing the Fist of Gratia has over regular weapons is its absurd fucking stagger potential. Like right here, like staggering this boss in every single hit is great, but because the damage is so low, which is probably the counter to that, it doesn't fucking matter. I would rather like parry riposte. I think you can parry riposte this thing. I would rather hit it with a saw cleaver, right? With literally any other weapon. But I just, every time I think, oh, the Fist of Gratia has one positive thing, I can think of at least one thing that a normal weapon just does better. But I do appreciate the weapon a tiny bit. I can see how some people use it as like a combo thing with a regular weapon, but again, I just think it would be better to do like the saw cleaver. Anyway, Bloodstarved Beast. Okay, so first off, there was something I was going to say about this boss, and I'm totally blanking because I thought about it like a week ago and I forgot to write it fucking down. I didn't remember how I fought this boss when I did the first Fist of Gratia video, but I did remember how I fought this boss when I did the 1 HP 1 stamina, which is to bait the arm, that attack. I don't know what to call it. Arm, not arm sweep, but that the one that looks like the lunge attack, but that's not the lunge attack, right? That slam right there, whatever. And then get behind it for an attack or two. The way the boss moves, I did remember that sometimes you can clip it, like if it tries to dodge around, like it does a circle dodge, right? You can still sometimes hit the very outer edge of its hurt box for just a tiny bit of extra damage. But it doesn't like really matter. I'm doing so little damage, I guess, that the extra hit is nice, but at the same time it just doesn't matter. As you can see, I was in the first phase, I was pretty like every time it would try and do that like bite, swing, head slam thingy, I would try and go for a follow-up, and sometimes her skin flaps would hit me. I did that in the first phase. I stopped doing that, especially in the third phase when just standing near her is a problem. I think I stopped doing it somewhere in the second phase, maybe, I don't remember, but I was trying to get out as much damage as I could. As you can see, I switched to the white church garb for the extra poison resistance, and I have 10 antidotes just in case, because being poisoned with this fucking thing running around on crack is not fun. This is not, especially in this tiny circular arena. There's nowhere to run and hide from the boss to try and heal or to try and cure the poison. It's just this is a very dangerous arena for this boss to fight this boss in. I'm still trying to remember what the thing I wanted to talk about was. It was kind of a joke. I think. What was it? I honestly just don't remember. And I've got, you know, 500,000 years to try and remember because the fights are taking so long. It was either that I always make a joke about needing to, like, either fight this boss or farm to get the Hunter Chief emblem, but that involves killing Cleric Beast, which I usually do anyway. It was either that, and people would tell me in comments, like, hey, you could just kill the Bloodstarved Beast and, you know, go through the elevator path and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't, like, sometimes I don't like fighting Bloodstarved Beast. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't that. I don't know. It was either that or the fact that maybe it was that I always refer to Bloodstarved Beast as a she, and I always get at least one comment asking me why I do that. And the reason is because a long time ago, I remember watching a lore video. I don't know if it was Vadi or somebody else, but I remember watching a video that claimed all Bloodstarved Beast type beasts are female. They came from female humans, Yharnamites or whatever, before they were transformed. And similarly, all Cleric Beasts are male. They all came from male NPCs or whatever. I do not know if that is actual, like, factual, right? It's just something that I heard once and it kind of stuck, because it doesn't really fucking matter. Her, he, who cares? Big angry beast trying to rip my face off. I don't really care. But it was just something that stuck a long time ago, so I just kept doing it. And that's why I always refer to Bloodstarved Beast as a she. I don't think there's any... I don't know how the lore video came to that conclusion. There might be one random item description somewhere that links Bloodstarved Beasts to female NPCs, but I don't know. It was just a thing. But that's why. I'm sure everybody that comments on it is probably not going to see this, so thanks for the comments, I guess. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Whatever. I don't mind answering that, but that's me telling you, everybody, in case you were one of the people that are curious and didn't comment, I guess, and you just happen to be here watching this. That's why. Since Phase 3 has started, my strategy has slightly changed. I'm not as aggressive in the fight, and that's just because being near her causes her to build poison buildup. One thing I did learn, I don't know if I've done it yet or not. Wait, right there. The Fist of Gratia can knock her out of her charge. The downside is she'll immediately go into doing some other attack, but it can knock her out of doing the big explosions, so it stops her from having... You know, I think her poison buildup is really strong after she does the explosion, but it gradually falls off to like lower levels of buildup. Like right here, I'm not getting very much, but had she exploded, I feel like I would have already been poisoned, right? But yeah, it can knock her out of it, which is actually the only legitimate plus I can think of to this weapon. But yeah, this fight isn't hard either. It's just long, mostly because I've done the fight before, so I knew what I was doing. I don't know why, but I always thought this open area with the wooden bridge was cool, like some Indiana Jones type of thing. Anyway, a little further in, I find the two bastards I'm looking for in this chest. Also death, but that's okay. Then I sprint my way through the lower Thumerian Labyrinth and grab the Arcane Haze extractor, which will allow me to extract Arcane Haze. You probably didn't need me to tell you that, though. I had a lot of miscellaneous materials I could convert, but some of them were necessary and I didn't actually notice. Thankfully, the ones I picked, I didn't need. Would have been way smarter to just buy a bunch of Ritual Blood with Insight than use that, but I'm not known for my intelligence stat. Lastly, all I had to do was farm more Ritual Blood 4s, but while I was doing this, my weapon became at risk, and let me tell you, if this happened while I was fighting a boss, oh boy, I'd have been pissed. But, with that little hiccup out of the way, I collected all the blood I need, and I guess it's time for the Defiled Chalice. Oh joy! So yeah, for some reason, the fourth of the 5 main story Chalice dungeons has a curse on it, I guess to let you know that it exists, but it kinda sucks. Just like, in general, I mean. Oh well, sure I'm glad I stacked the hell out of Vitality. Okay, here we go. Gotta set up in my chair for this one. This is... he's got that residual, gotta get the gamer energy out. Keeper of the Old Lords was probably the hardest boss in this run. It's pretty close between him and the next one after this. Sorry, the next two after this. They're all three of those are pretty... Wait, what's the next two? I don't remember. This one and 2 others. The next one definitely, but this one, the next one, and one that's slightly later. Anyway, definitely the hardest fucking fights, and 100% part of that reason is because this is a Defiled Chalice. I don't have a whole lot of health. According A cool thing I learned that may or may not be true because it came from fucking Fextra, is that according to Fextra, the Defiled, while it halves your health, this chalice, it also halves physical damage, which kind of makes sense. I noticed a lot of attacks that I feel like should have killed me or should have done a lot of damage, kind of didn't. It does not have elemental damage though. As such, this boss has at least one attack, I think two, it might be the same attack but as a combo. At least one attack that is a flat out one shot, like its Fire Blast attack, not the ground pound one, the combustion looking one. I don't think I ever got hit by that ground pound attack, but the combustion looking attack has definitely one shot me. And that flame, like that double flame arc the boss can do, can also stagger one shot me. Like on a couple occasions I got hit by the first flame and it staggered me into getting hit by the second one and I just died. I don't know if it's a guaranteed stagger or not, but it was not it is not a fun time when you do so little damage to the boss and it can fucking one-shot you. I was so frustrated doing this fight. But finally, the boss is half dead. Let's talk about strategy. First off, dodging through those flames. I did not like dodging through both of them. It's possible, but I preferred walking around the first one and then dodging through the second one to get a couple hits in. But here is the actual strategy. So in phase 1, the boss will just walk at you, and you can sprint at the boss and get a single hit in, and then back off. And the reason I say single hit is because the boss has a quick slash combo. It's a 2-hit combo. I think they can also extend it to a 3rd hit, but a 2-hit combo that is very quick. And if you running attack the boss, your cooldown, your end lag of the Fist of Gratia is slow enough that their attack will connect. If, however, you do the standing version or the walking version or whatever, the end lag is fast enough that you can actually hit the boss before it hits you. So in phase 1, I just sprinted at the boss a lot, got a hit in, kind of backed off. In phase 2, I would be careful, but I could, especially if I position the boss like this and against the wall, getting multiple hits in is definitely doable, but stamina is very important because if you get caught out without stamina in this fight, you're basically just fucking dead. There's almost nothing you can do. Also, when the boss transitions, the boss will light their sword on fire. You can knock them out of doing that, and they will keep trying to do it. So on some runs, I was able to like get 10 or so hits before the boss even actually transitioned to phase 2. I don't remember what happened on this one, but I was so fucking happy when this fight was over. I think I'm about to say that again. Thank the old ones that's over. It can't get much worse, right? Okay, the watchdog of the old lord. So right off the bat, there's a strategy, and it is to sprint at the boss, get a single hit on its back leg, and then follow it, and then get another hit on it. Because 2 sprinting hits, or maybe a sprinting and a regular one, I don't remember, can do its mini stagger, which is great. After that, though, the strategy becomes hit its front leg until it breaks. And anytime according to the Bloodborne wiki, not Fextra wiki, because Fextra doesn't have this kind of information, according to the Bloodborne wiki, its head, once broken, takes like twice as much damage or something like that. I don't remember what the actual number is. It's a lot more than the rest of its body. So I was trying to like get the mini stagger on its legs, and then there's just enough time to like get close and get a single hit on its head. So I was trying, and then here, when I actually broke its leg, I was trying to bust its skull open for the extra damage. I don't think I ended up doing that in this fight. I don't think I ended up managing to break its head, but I kept trying, where I should have just kept trying to damage the legs, because they take extra damage, obviously, but no. So the strategy, aside from that opening one, is to play kind of close to the boss, because its swipe attacks, the most dangerous attack it has is obviously the charge, because if you dodge and you dodge incorrectly, it's a one-shot. However, I did learn with the proper gear on, and I forgot to mention this in the last fight, I had switched to elementally resistant gear. Here too, I'm wearing the Charge Hunter set because he does fire damage. You can tank the charge if you do not dodge. Similar to Ebrietis at blood level 4, if you have the right gear on, if you don't dodge Ebrietis' charge attack, at least the phase 1 charge attack, you can tank the attack just on very little health. Same thing that happens here. With this setup, with this amount of health, I can tank the charge if I don't dodge, but, you know, I want to dodge. It's instinctual after playing these games. You want to get the hell out of the way, right? But, yeah, no, this fight wasn't... I would say it's a bit easier. I think it took me longer than the Keeper fight, but it's a bit easier. His second most dangerous attack is that one that he keeps stomping on the ground because it's just really fast, and he actually... His animation gets faster as he gets to phase 2 and 3. In phase 1, it's kind of easy to dodge. Like, it's really slow. But in phase 2, it becomes super fast. I don't know if there's a speed increase in phase 3 either, but it's really fast. And on one occasion, I was so pissed when this happened. I was standing in front of the boss's right foot, I think, or back left foot, maybe. I think it was back left. Back left, and the boss stomped with his front right, and I got clipped by the explosion of the front right foot. Like, the very edge of the hitbox hit me, bringing me down to, you know, almost dead range. And then he stomped with his back left, and because I got hit by the first one, I was trying to get up and away from the attack, and then it killed me. He might have been like half dead, like it wasn't super far into the fight, but I was pissed, because I was doing great otherwise. Like, I think on that particular attempt, I only got hit like one other time in the entire stretch of the thing. I was so fucking mad. But anyway. Yeah, no, Watchdog, this version of the Watchdog has so much goddamn health. It's not even funny how much health some of these Chalice boss dungeons have. I don't know why they have so much health either. Like, it's not in line with the base games. It's like DLC levels. And I don't know why. I have no idea why they gave these bosses so much fucking health. But they did. Other things to do during this fight, like I said, just kind of stick near him. That swipe where he does the fire thing can be dodged through pretty easily for a hit. That attack, for some reason, that attack got harder to dodge in phase 2 and 3. I don't know if it's just a timing thing, but in phase 1, I was pretty easy to dodge through his head, but I kept fucking it up in 2 and 3. But it's not a terribly hard encounter to deal with. When you break his limb, not when you break his limb. When you mini stagger him, he will let out like a mini explosion from the staggered limb, and then a big one. I was surprised that I lived that, by the way. I didn't realize that was about to happen because that was the first or second time I got to this, and I just wasn't paying attention. I'm so happy I lived that though. But anyway, when you mini stagger one of his limbs, he'll explode, and like usually from the limb that you broke, but in that case, he did it from somewhere else. But it's possible, like if you mini stagger his back leg, you can go far enough around to hit his front leg that the explosion won't hit you, so you can get a couple of extra shots in. It's not super useful. I mean, any extra damage I guess is useful, but it's not like, probably not going to be the deciding factor. But that attack, that explosion, holy shit, you gotta stay away from that. That is dangerous. And I knew since I was doing so little damage, he was gonna be doing that attack a lot, right? So I had to be careful as best I could. But overall, this fight wasn't super hard. It was just really long and arduous, and like not a fun thing to do. This is not a fun. I do not find low damage runs enjoyable, like at all. Which is why I'm so glad to be finally be done with the Fist of Gratia, because now, like I slightly mentioned his name earlier, but JK would occasionally joke with me in Discord. He'd be like, "So, Fist of Gratia Chalice? You gonna do that soon?" And I was always just like, "Fuck no." But eventually I was like, you know what? I want to play Bloodborne. And I do have another run in mind that at the time of recording this voiceover, I haven't started yet. But it's also going to be a pain in the ass. Technically not low damage, but it is going to be slow, and I'm not looking forward to it. I don't even know if it's going to be something I can finish. I'm going to try. But, yeah, he would joke. JK would always be like, Chalice dungeons win, bro. You only have to hit the Watchdog like 800 million times. I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I like my silly runs of like only leveling strength. They're stupid, but they're fun. But, that one right there, I don't know how I lived that. I have no idea how I lived that. I was against the wall, didn't know where to go, and somehow I didn't die. Ugh. Sorry, at this point I really have kind of run out of things to say. I wanna be entertaining for you guys, but there's no. I don't think I missed any of the strategy for this fight, except for maybe if you're far away from him when he does the big explosions. Obviously, get a lot of damage in when he's puking right there. But if you're far away from him when he does the explosion, which you should be, because if you're not, you're kind of fucked. He might charge at you, and it's good to stay away from him because you could actually get a couple hits in on him after the charge. That attack, that biting attack, kind of sucks. But nothing you can really do. I tried to dodge through it before, but I always fuck it up and he hits me with like the tail end of it, so it's better to just stay away. One thing does happen in this encounter that you're about to see that just prepare yourself. And here is where if I had swallowed coal, I could shit diamonds. So I thought the boss was dead, so I was doing the cool guy walk away, but he fucking wasn't. I was, Okay, now it can't get much worse, right? What do I even pay you for? So here it is. Amygdala. This is not a fun fight at all. This boss has so much goddamn health, and its only weak point is its head. It's not fun at all. So I know you can bait the jump. I'm not particularly good at doing that. I don't know why, but I've just never been good at baiting the jump attack. Excuse me, baiting the jump attacks and then consistently hitting its head. I'm doing it here because this is my like 4th or 5th attempt on this boss. But I actually don't want to do that. I prefer fighting this boss like by being in front of it at this point. You will see me run underneath it to reposition occasionally, but one of the reasons I didn't only go for the jump attack, again, not only am I not consistent at hitting its head, especially with this fucking weapon, but the boss does have one attack where it like sweeps the ground vertically instead of horizontally. And when I would be running back to get under the boss to reset and make it jump again, it would hit me with that attack, which is not a one-shot, but it's not fun either. It's a lot of damage. So I ended up playing in front of the boss and actually found it kind of enjoyable. I started recognizing where the openings are, and they do change between phase 2 and 3, but yeah, no. Also, if the boss lands on that center or the outside area, I was checking my weapon durability. If the boss lands on the center or the outside of like the ring around the thing, you can actually miss its head with some of the attacks, which sucks. The range on this attack is fucking awful, as you clearly can tell. But yeah, I do end up baiting the jump attacks in phase 3 because its additional range made it kind of hard to play in front of it. But overall, Amygdala was not as hard as I thought it would be. I was expecting to hate this fight and be here for, hours and days, and I think this fight only took a couple hours of attempts because it only took like 5 or so or something like that. But hitting it, I did, the very first attempt, I did go in like, fuck this, I'm going to stand directly underneath it where it can't hit me with anything and punch its tail. And it's like 22 damage. I did do that on this attempt, like near the end, because I was just waiting. I was like, hey, extra damage is extra damage. I wasn't actually trying to like focus that. Also, what the fuck was that? What was that instant attack bullshit that it just did? When that happened during the run, I was like, what the hell? Anyway. I did attack its tail on the first attempt, thinking I would just, it's like 1,000 something hits. It's some absurd amount of punches, but it's safe, right? And then I died anyway. Like, fuck this. I'm not gonna fight the boss for 5 goddamn hours just to die. So I learned how to play in front of it. Unfortunately, that is basically everything I have to say about Amygdala, and it's only like a 4th dead. So, how you doing? How you doing out there? Y'all having a good time? Y'all having a good day? I need some water. I'm gonna drink this water and I'm gonna go get more because this boss fight takes forever. You know what? No, I'm not gonna go get more because something might happen that I don't remember. Like I said, this was recorded a long time ago. Air quotes, a long time ago. So I don't remember everything that happened in all the fights. So something interesting might have happened. Probably not. Amygdala's just a bitch. Sorry about that noise. I did, there you saw me run wide around the boss, and that was mostly just to try and get it away from the center. Like, I wanted to reposition it away from the center just because I wanted to be able to hit it. But, yeah, no, I actually kind of thoroughly enjoyed fighting this boss, air quotes, normally. I guess it would be considered normally, right? Not baiting the jump attack. It would be a lot more fun if my attack did more than fucking flicking bogeys at the boss. I seriously could do more damage to this thing if I sneezed on it than using this weapon. One thing that did kill me a couple times, that attack right there, that one where it slams the hand down with the explosion has a different, it's a delayed hitbox in the sense that it will show up, and if you run into it at any point, it hurts you. So I had definitely ran into that box trying to get around, because my strategy was running this kind of anti-clockwise direction around the boss when it does that triple slam attack, or sorry, 2 sweeps into a slam. But in phase 2, when it adds the explosions, at one point I'm pretty sure I got hit by the actual arm slam, and then I tried to roll away and then got hit by the explosion because it was still lingering and it killed me, and I was pissed. So it's solved by just kind of running slightly wider away from the boss, but it's not fun. It is not fun to be, 20 minutes into a fight and then die to something stupid like that. But overall, Amygdala, not a super hard fight, really. It's kind of annoying more than anything. There we go. Look at Amygdala. I like to imagine that these bosses see me with the Fist of Gratia and think, oh, ho, ho, I have, I've got 22,000 health and you do 100 damage a swing. I'm going to win just from, the fight taking so long, the probability that I'm going to hit you with 2 attacks before you hit me with the 100. Right? But the boss slowly gets more and more frustrated. I know it's not, because it's not real. But I like to imagine the boss is like right there. It's like throwing a little temper tantrum. I'm like, why can't I hit you? Even though he just did. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. I tried to run in to get my attack, and the lingering box of that explosion was still active, and so it hit me, and I'm like, fuck. But I love thinking that the bosses are just getting more and more upset. Like, this is so dumb. You're doing so little damage, and I'm losing. Why? Eventually, I did at some point. Oh, right there, actually, I think. Oh, yeah. I broke the boss's head. It probably happened earlier in the fight, and I missed it. But I think twice I was able to break the boss's head, and then I'm like, please, I want to bait the jump attack because I want the extra damage. But unfortunately, it's really hard to capitalize with this weapon because of the range. It's just so hard to consistently land the hits without, perfect positioning, which I didn't have because I'm not used to doing this. But, in here I was getting pissed because the boss hadn't healed its head yet. I'm like, stop stomping, start jumping. Please, I want you to jump. Because the longer... I don't know how it's programmed to, heal itself, but my assumption is it's a timer. It's like, we'll just use easy numbers. 1 minute after breaking the head, it activates a boolean. It activates a true-false value that says can heal is set to true, which means it's added to the pool of things that it can do, right? So it might decide, it'll roll a random number generator, or however its AI is, existent, and be like, oh, do I want to attack now, or do I want to heal? So I don't know if that's how it works, but that's how I think it works. So I'm like, every second that this boss is wasting while I'm trying to hit its head is a second that it's not letting me do it, and it's gonna heal, right? I'm losing time. But here, as you can see, the extra range on that slam and the fact that it lays its hand down in front of itself, I missed. This happened a couple of seconds ago. I tried sprinting in for the attack, but the arm blocked me. And since the arm is no longer part of the boss, it doesn't take damage. So now I'm trying to bait the jump attack because I want to be able to hit it in its head. Also, it's extra dangerous because right there, the jump attack now has a hitbox on it because of the arm. I mean, maybe it did before, but I don't know if it's landed on me in this fight, aside from phase 3. But now it's dangerous to bait the jump attack because the arms that Amygdala is holding have a hitbox on them. So if I'm too far in front of the boss, if I'm too far away from where it jumped, it'll land on me and almost kill me. And then, you know, I have to get a way to heal. But one heal is not enough. I have to fully restore my health. I flew there. I have to fully restore my health, otherwise it'll kill me. So it's just, it's so dangerous. No matter what I'm doing in this encounter, it's so dangerous to either bait the jump attack or to stand in front of it. And I chose to bait the jump attack just because I wanted the consistency of maybe hitting its head. I also don't know if it can do the dangerous vertical claw swipe ground attack anymore. Since it's ripped its arms off, it might be able to. I just don't remember. And here you saw me go for a leg hit because I'm like, oh, extra damage is extra damage. But yeah, no, this is the Amygdala fight. At this point, I'm almost exclusively going for the jump attack bait and hitting it in its tail like once or twice whenever it does it. Sometimes I don't because it'll do a stomp, and the stomp obviously isn't a one-shot, but it's not. It doesn't feel good either. But yeah. I am now out of water. Amygdala, you've taken so long to kill that I've run out of water and my voice is starting to hurt from talking. What else can I say about Amygdala? She a bitch. Sorry, I don't want to clear my throat, I don't want to annoy you guys. But yeah, it's really unfortunate that you have to be so focused in these dungeons because they have so much health and they have do so much damage, especially in the defiled dungeon, because you have half health. I can't just like zone out and watch a stream or anything. I have to actually be focused this entire time on the fight. There I broke its head again. I'm like, yes, sweet damage. I got 2 hits in on it. I'm like, it's so close, please. I think I almost choke. I don't remember exactly, but I think, similar to the Watchdogs, I almost fuck it up. Yeah, I almost died there, and then it did a sweep, and I was like, please, no. And here I'm just terrified, so I'm like, not doing anything extra dangerous. I'm just like standing very close to where it jumps. I'm not trying to position. Before I was trying to walk forward to get in a good position to get 2 hits on it after it jumps, but here I'm like, no, 1 hit and then back up. And that is the Amygdala fight. Thank God that's over. I was so happy to be out of that dungeon. The half health thing really sucked. Thankfully, I can go to the final one now. I just gotta L pose in front of this brain for fun and punch it to death, which, let me be real, I'm so glad that this thing doesn't fight back. It 100% looks like it would do the huge tentacle sweep that just does 1 billion damage per nanosecond. Anyway, this gives the living string, which is one of the required materials. Then I'm going to have to farm for Ritual Blood 5, because of course I'll have to, and then get some Arcane Haze, no problem. What is a problem is the red jelly. I didn't have enough, and I didn't have access to any of the guaranteed locations for it. Well, I did for the main game. There are 2 in the lecture hall, which I'd already picked up in a previous video, apparently. So now I had a decision to make. There are 2 in the Lower Lorraine dungeon and 2 in the Great Is Chalice. Both of them will require me to beat the first 2 bosses of their respective dungeons, except it's Lower Lorraine, not Ailing, meaning I would need to get through the 3rd Ailing Chalice boss, which is the Abhorrent Beast, plus collect whatever materials to actually make it. So when I said I had a decision, I lied. There was never a choice. I'm going to the Is dungeon. Just have to farm 14 million ritual blood. At least I was smart this time and remembered that there are eye runes for extra discovery. Kono daigaku hontou ni suki da. I farmed so much that I had almost 1 million blood echoes, and I was able to get several levels that I originally thought about spreading out over vitality, endurance, and strength. Yeah, we see how well that worked out. The other reason I decided to do this dungeon was because the first boss is the Brainsucker, which by itself doesn't have a lot of health, kind of like the Merciless Watchers. Oh, fuck me, that's gonna suck, actually. Okay, Brainsucker. So there was not a strategy for this one. Aside from don't get hit. The boss has not a whole lot of health, which was why I came here, but as you see, I'm doing 31 damage a swing. Fuck, it sucks. But because the boss can be staggered after basically every hit, it's pretty easy. I think it can its grab attack can hyper armor through the attack, so I have to be careful of that. Yeah. But it's very slow, and obviously it's possible to dodge around the boss when it, or yeah, well, around the enemy when it does that. But I am much more comfortable just backing up to regain my stamina and waiting for it to finish. I think one thing did happen in this encounter that was weird. First off, you got to be wary of, if it does the ground one and starts running at you, I think it almost always wants to go for the quick grab, so you know, got to be careful of that. But I think the boss did manage to grab me at one point, but not. I think its animation glitched out. I'm waiting for. I don't remember when it happens. I'm just waiting for it to see if it happens. But it like instantly did something, and I was like, "What the fuck do you mean you instantly did that?" But I don't remember where. So I'm just kind of watching right now because there's nothing else to talk about. I mean, the bosses just walk forward and hit the attack button. Dangerous, but you can obviously dodge through the blue projectiles that he shoots to get close. Right there! That was like an instant fucking attack, and I don't know why it did that. I've never seen it do that. I don't think that's normal. I think that was an animation fuck up, which I'm just glad the attack didn't kill me. Its grab, I'm just glad it wasn't a one-shot. But yeah, that's the entirety of the brain. So after that happened, I was more afraid to approach the boss, because I'm like, what if it does it again? It's not a one-shot, but like, come on. And now it has the additional attacks of like sweeping its luscious hair. That's definitely not hair. But overall, the fight's not hard. It's just really slow because it doesn't take very much damage. But yeah, Brainsucker, definitely a better choice than going through the lower Lorraine. If for no other reason than because I'd have to do an extra boss on that, but I do not regret doing the Chalice, even with Brainsucker taking 31 damage a swing. It just takes, you know, it's not hard. If it was a boss that could hyper armor through all of my attacks, I might have honestly considered trying the other boss, but whatever. Or the other Chalice, but, you know, whatever. Oh no, my nose is doing the thing. I can feel it. Oh no! Oh well, boss is almost dead. That's good. Brainsucker, more like sucker punched, am I right? Oh man, I need a nap. I need a pizza. I'm so hungry right now. Also, Brainsucker is brain fucked. Okay, Celestial Emissary. So there actually is a cheese for this fight. I don't remember when I learned it, but I learned it pretty fast. As you can see, it takes 2 hits to stagger this boss. Maybe I wouldn't call this a cheese, but 2 hits to stagger the boss, which 2 normal hits to stagger the boss. But later, I think I learned something else. Anyway. I really do want that pizza. I actually am going to order one. Oh, pizza sounds so good. It is. Going to get me what is called the American pizza from Domino's. Here in Japan, there's a pizza pizza type, I guess, called the American pizza, and it's just a pepperoni pizza. It's got something else on it, some kind of crumbly crust cheese thing. It's good, but it's literally just a fucking pepperoni pizza. But I'm going to go get that. It sounds so good. But, alright, so for the actual fight, two hits can stagger it, which is great. I think I learned, yeah, maybe about here, I learned that a rolling attack will one hit stagger it. So the fight became roll at it and get the attack in, roll at it again and get the attack in, and do that until, I can do it 3 times until my stamina's gone, and then just walk away from the boss, let it do one attack, and then just repeat that process. This might be the only instance, and the one slightly later, where the Fist of Gratia has like a 1-up on regular weapons, but I would still dare to say that using like the Saw Cleaver or literally anything else would just do so much more damage that this doesn't matter. Like it's cool that this is a thing, like, oh wow, you got this neat little cheese strat. But the damage is so low that I think it wouldn't matter. Just use a regular weapon. Yeah, no, I don't know. But it's the most dangerous part is that sometimes I would miss the swing because the hitbox on this attack is very small. Or he would catch me with a stomp like that because it's just fast enough after the roll. But it's not a dangerous encounter with this strat. I never felt like I was in danger here. Should I order that pizza now? This voiceover is being recorded 2 weeks before the video goes live, so everybody in the comments ask me how the pizza was. I'm just joking. I'm sorry, I don't have anything else to say. I have found this cheese strat, and when I was playing, I was just like, fuck the Celestial Emissary. I was hoping it would do the thing where it accidentally died, like it did in the first encounter, in the actual base game encounter, but it didn't, obviously. I just kept punching it in the shin until it died. But yeah, it's... Celestial Emissary. Oh no, the video is fucking up on the playback. That sucks. I don't know what to do about that because I'm literally like watching the video and recording the audio. So if I pause the video, it's normal now. If I pause the video, the audio is going to become weirdly unsynced when I try, unless I can like manage to exactly line it up. But it's fine. It fixed itself. I'll pause it again after the encounter. I'm very excited to show you the Bloodletting Beast thing that I found because I thought it was hilarious. I think that's the encounter after this. Maybe. Is it that or is it the Thumerium Descendant? Maybe it's a Descendant next, which I do have a strategy for. I did have to actually develop a strategy for that fight. Not a hard one, but it exists more than just stand there punching the boss repeatedly like the first encounter. But yeah, Celestial Emissary. Rolling L1, or rolling L2, or whatever the button is. I think it's L2. Easy. Boss is easy. Now, where is that damned red jelly? Of course it's in the last room that I looked in. I even had a map, but my stubborn ass was like, no, I'll find it, no problem. But who cares? With this and the fact I farmed all the ritual blood in advance, I can finally enter the last dungeon on my travels. The Great Thumeru Ehil Chalice. Well, that's not ominous at all. Okay, on to the Thumerian Descendant version 2. Oh, I forgot the other water. It's fine. Okay, so the strategy for this one, because there actually is one, sort of. Phase 1 is to try to dodge to his left, because he has, checking my durability again, he has several attacks that basically all of them will miss if you dodge to his right, or sorry, to his left. But the problem is that one of his attacks is an incredibly fast, like, uppercut, I guess, from, I think, bottom left to top right if you're facing him. His lower right to top left. So, basically, approach him and immediately dodge, because this will allow you to avoid his fast slash, but also every other attack he has. He has one that's really slow, that you'll actually dodge, like, you would get hit for it if you dodged into him and then he finished the attack. But it's so slow and the tracking is not great that you can actually dodge to his left. Man, why is it? His left, yes. Dodge to his left, and it will allow you to dodge the attack. And that's it. That's the entirety of Phase 1, is to just dodge to his left and hit him a couple times. He does like to jump away, which really sucks, because he can jump just fast enough to avoid being hit a second time, which just prolongs the crap out of the fight. It just made this fight take way longer than if he'd just not been able to do that. But that's the entirety of Phase 1. Not a hard fight. No, not a hard Phase 1 at all. It just takes forever because he keeps jumping, which he continues into Phase 2, but Phase 2, the strategy changes. And I'll be honest, I'm trying right now to remember what that strategy in Phase 2 was. What did I do? Baiting the jump attack is a good idea, just it's not very consistent, and he'll sprint at you most of the time. What did I do for Phase 2? Oh, that's what it was. Okay. So in this case, my plan was to walk backwards and then dodge in through a couple of his attacks, and which one was it? That one right there, it's like a slow swing where he uses both of the sickles or whatever at the same time, up and down. Dodging through it will let you get a hit in. That attack, there's a combo where he'll hit you 3 times. He'll do a 3-hit combo unless he hits you, and then he does the same combo a second time. Like, he'll just do it back to back. Like, he extends it into doing the exact same thing. Which has killed me multiple times. But if you don't get hit by it, then it's not a problem. Unfortunately, that's not always an issue. It was that one right there. Actually, I think it's the same. No, it's not the same combo. But it's not hard to avoid just dodging to his side through his attacks. It's just, if you get clipped by it, then you have to worry about it being a follow-up. And if you end up with your back against a wall, you're probably dead. The camera in this fight, with all of the pillars and him being so small and agile, it's a pain in the ass. And I had at least 2 deaths, which doesn't sound like a lot, but at least 2 deaths, where I basically ended up being pushed into a wall, and I just couldn't see what the hell was going on. So I was just frantically trying to dodge away from him, and of course, panic dodging. As far as the game is concerned, I was just panic dodging. I died, right? And it was just awful. Overall, not a hard fight once I realized dodging to the left instead of right was the better play. Phase 2 was kind of a bitch until I was more careful. But yeah, it's not, before I realized that I should back off instead of approaching him. I should wait for him to attack and then, you know, do my own stuff. It just sucks because I do so little damage, and he just constantly jumped away. That was what made this fight honestly kind of difficult, was just the amount of times he would jump away from me, extending the fight. Like, I swear it would have taken less than half the time to kill this boss had he just never jumped away from me. Ideally, you could try and put him up against a wall. Look, I almost died. I'm right here. I was panic healing, and he threw his sickles or whatever through the wall, and I was like, oh no. But ideally, you could try and get him up against the wall in one of the pillars, and he would dodge like backwards away from you into it, allowing you to get a couple more hits, which did work a couple times. I'm pretty sure, maybe not on the winning attempt, but I definitely did that a couple of times. The problem, of course, then is you run out of stamina, and he's just like, hello, fuckwat. It's like, and you can't do anything. You just gotta back up. You have to constantly be aware of your stamina. I almost died again. And at this point, I was like, please, God, no. I want to end this fucking torment. At least this wasn't Into the Defiled Chalice. If this was Into the Defiled Chalice and I had to fight this asshole, I don't know if I would have finished it, because, my God, his speed plus being one-shot does not sound like fun at all. But I pulled through, and, you know, that is fantastic. This lever is heavily guarded. Thankfully, if you can dodge a fat naked man with a mace, you can dodge a ball. Works 100% of the time, 60% of the time. Okay, the Bloodletting Beast version 2. I'm so excited to show what I've learned in this fight. I have talked it up for 2 fights now, and it's gonna last like 3 seconds. It's fine. So, when the fight starts, sorry, not when the fight starts, but the first phase of this fight is exactly, as far as I can tell, it's exactly the same as original Bloodletting Beast. So all of the windows are the same. He might have an additional attack. Yeah, he's got this blood rain attack. He's got a couple of extra things, but they're not hard to worry about. They don't do a whole lot of damage. You just gotta kind of stay on your feet and run away. Kind of like every edit, that last one that he did, just kind of run in a big circle. But there's not a whole lot going on in this fight. One thing that if I was smart, I would have actually edited this footage before doing this commentary, but it's fine. It's fine. Anyway. But aside from that and maybe one other new attacker, nothing's a problem. It's the same as the first one, just kind of wait for him to either do a big attack like that one, preferably not getting smashed afterwards. His overhead slam is a good chance to hit him. I just fucked it up. Going for his 4-hit ground pound combo, this one, dodging through it, and then getting a couple swings. Gotta be careful because he's got that backhand that he just did. But overall, my God, the camera on 2-speed kind of sucks. Overall, it's not a hard fight. Especially with what I'm going to show you in a minute. Sort of. I don't remember when that happens. Eventually. Okay, right here. So, I broke his limb, which is great. I didn't realize what that means just yet, but I managed to break his limb. And at this point in my run, I had realized that I want to focus on the limb for extra damage, because things just have so much health. So, a few hits, excuse me, not a few, 1 hit, I believe, plus a rolling hit is enough to constantly stagger him while he's trying to heal. Like, I think it's 1 and then a roll. It might be 2. I'm doing 2. I'm not sure if I'm doing that for the extra damage or if it just takes 2, but maybe it's 2 standard hits and a single rolling hit, maybe? 1, roll, 1, roll. Okay, no, so I was just doing it for the extra damage. It's 1 roll and then a single hit. And that is enough to stagger him while he's trying to heal. And he'll just keep doing it. He'll just keep trying to heal his leg. And I was like, did I just find the easy mode for this fight? And the answer is kind of no. I mean, obviously kind of yes. Like, this is, I've made it to where he can't do shit, right? He cannot retaliate. He's trying to heal his leg, and I just keep staggering him. This is the best use of the Fist of Gratia that I've ever seen. I wish I had realized this on the original Bloodletting Beast, and I'll tell you why in a second, but this is the only time that I would ever look at the Fist of Gratia and be like, yes, it's useful. Because you can recover stamina fast enough to just do this infinitely. Using something like the Saw Cleaver would still overall probably be more useful because it's just the sheer damage you would get with it, I guess. I don't know. But right here, this is the reason why I wish I had learned it in the first fight, is because he will at some point want to go into phase 2, and it just happens immediately, and now he's out of the thing. And I don't think I was able to get him stuck in that loop again. Because it doesn't seem to work if he's not trying to heal. Like, I'm pretty sure I hit him with a rolling attack and then a regular attack, and it didn't do it. But yeah, that was fantastic. I was so happy when I learned that, because it's just, these bosses have so much fucking health. So any advantage I can get where I can just lay in air quotes damage, right? I was so excited. I don't even remember if he tried to heal after this point. Obviously, you can still stagger him like that, but it's not working as consistently, or I don't remember if I tried it and I just couldn't get it to work or what. But maybe I just gave up. I don't know. But yeah, had I known that in the first Bloodletting Beast fight, where there is no phase 2, would that have just like permanently stunned him until he was dead? Like, that would be the most amazing thing the Fist of Gratia has ever done. I made a joke in one of my other Fist of Gratia videos where it's like, what if it's just like the best weapon ever in Chalice? For like no reason, there's just like a buff it gets in Chalice where it does like 1,000,000 damage, which is not the case, obviously. But I made the joke. I was like, hey, what if it's actually good? And that right there was the one case where I'm just like, hot damn, I like using this weapon for this fight. Briefly, before he transitioned, I mentioned using the Saw Cleaver would be better, and all I meant by that was like, sure, you can like stun lock him, but imagine if you just had the Saw Cleaver and a decent amount of Beasthood. You'd have wiped out that entire health anyway. Like, it wouldn't have taken, well, it wasn't very long, like a minute and a half or something, but you could have just obliterated his health. It wouldn't have mattered. I don't know. It was pretty cool to see that, though. I was finally like, wow, Fist of Gratia, you did a thing. Good job. I don't know why I stopped trying. Like, I'm hitting his leg. I'm staggering him with a rolling, like I'm rolling through him and staggering him. But then I'm just hitting his leg. I don't know why I switched. Maybe early on after the phase transition I tried and it didn't work, and that's why. I don't remember. But yeah, basically at this point it becomes roll through his attacks to land the rolling attack, and it'll stagger him and then get 1 or 2 hits and be like, yeah, I've done my damage, and then back up because he's gonna, fight now. But overall, I would actually say this is kind of a fun boss. I remember JK mentioned that he had a lot of problems with this boss in his Blood Level 4 run, which, fucking understandable. But that was my only reference aside from me doing it ages ago, so I was really happy when I got to this boss, did that stagger lock, and was like, haha, if I die, at least I know how to push you to phase 2 every time. But yeah, fun fight, air quotes. As I pulled this lever, I thought to take out the Merciless Watcher, just for old time's sake, and it was going great, until a gargoyle thought it could jump in, and I don't swing that way. It's time. Yharnam Thumerian Queen. Okay, so, phase 1, before she rips off her handcuffs, not hard at all. I mean, honestly, neither of the phases are hard. I think this took me 2 tries before I got it. Maybe 3, I don't remember. But phase 1, all you gotta do, and I fucked it up there, all you gotta do is hang back until she's finished doing an attack, sprint in and land a sprinting attack, and if you do the sprint attack from far enough away, you can actually get a second hit before you need to dodge away from the paralyzed AoE thing. Earlier you saw me get hit by it because I was too close to her when I did the sprinting, so I was it had already activated its, like, it had already started the attack animation. It had already started her attack, so I wasn't able to do my second attack and get away in time. But if you maximize the sprinting distance with the L2, you can pull off 2 of them, which is just nice for having extra damage. Also, she doesn't consistently cry, or the baby that the pregnant baby, her baby, whatever, doesn't consistently cry, like while you're near her. So there have been a couple times, especially in phase 2, when I would get close and I'd manage to land 2 or 3 hits before the baby would start crying, which would be my signal to be like, okay, I can get 1 more and then have to bail. So you really have to listen to the fight. Like, if the baby's not crying, each attack staggers her, so just keep fucking punching her until the baby starts crying. My god, this is a horrible thing to describe. I do not feel comfortable describing this fight. But okay, now that she's in phase 2, good news, again, a single hit can stagger her. So anything that she does, just interrupt her. Do not, like, give her a chance to get the attack off, just immediately hit her. The clones allegedly have like 2,000 health, which I was terrified of, but they also die in 1 hit, so whatever. But seriously, like, just sprint up to her and hit her, and then you can back off if she's gonna cry. But like, anytime she does, you know, her blood attacks or the AoEs or literally anything except for the baby crying, you can just hit her out of it, so it doesn't matter. Which makes this fight incredibly easy. So the hard part is just dealing with the clones and making sure she doesn't hit you while you're dealing with the clones. There you saw me, like, not follow my own advice because I still wasn't entirely sure that this would work. Also, personally, I like to just sprint around. Whenever she disappears, I like to sprint around the arena, just trying to get lucky and find a clone. Sometimes, like this time, I ran into her by accident. And you can tell which one's the clone because it's the ones that aren't pregnant. I wish they didn't have the blood stain on the dress. That would have made it really obvious which one was the correct one, but whatever. But yeah, that's basically the whole fight. She does have a phase 3, I'm pretty sure, where she, like, imbues her dagger with blood. But it's the same thing. You can knock her out of the attack, so there's nothing to be worried about. Oh, okay, that's not entirely true. Again, you cannot knock her out of the baby crying, so if she does that, you have to back up, which might give her time to get off an attack, but it's whatever. The other thing that I learned, which I found really kind of stupid, the baby crying, the paralysis attack, lingers. Like, let's say she's at, you know, she's standing there, and you go up to hit her, and the baby starts crying, signaling that the attack is started, but then she teleports away. She can teleport, and then the baby crying attack can still come out, so even if she's gone, the paralysis attack will still land if you're close to it. Chances are she won't be able to follow up on it because, you know, she's in the middle of teleporting, but it's just really annoying. I'm pretty sure that happened at some point in this run because in my head, I was like, oh, the hitbox isn't going to finish because it didn't, like, fully spawn yet after she teleported. So I just kept attacking her to try and get a little bit of extra damage, and then I got paralyzed while she was gone. Like, what the fuck? But it's just kind of more of a nuisance than it is anything else, because, like I said, she's already gone. She can't do anything. No idea. That might have been on a losing attempt. I don't remember, honestly. But I guess we'll find out in a second. But, like, right there, you saw me attack her multiple times because the baby wasn't crying. I could just get away with it. And now she's in phase 3, but like I said, nothing really changed. I mean, it's actually a little bit easier in phase 3 because, for me, she seemed to focus more on melee attacks. This one, okay, this big explosion thing, you do need to stay away from because I guess you can't knock her out of it. But hey, right there, I got paralyzed. It's nowhere near me. That was what I was talking about. But that big explosion thing, you do have to stay away from because you can't knock her out of it, I don't think. But it's not... Wow, stand away from boss while boss finishes animation. That's literally it. It's not hard. And that's it. That's basically the whole fight, if I remember correctly. There's nothing else after this except for, you know, that stupid rock that doesn't do anything. A lot of her melee swings have a weird final hit, like that one. Like, she's like 4 quick slashes and then a 5th, like, slow one. I mean, once you know that that's the pattern, it's not hard to avoid. There's nothing else really. I literally, you see me just running and dodging the projectiles. The clones don't do the same projectiles that she does. Like, she'll fire, like, the blood bolt thing, she'll fire 3 of them, but the clones only fire 1. similar with the lance things that come out of the ground, I think. It's not, none of them are hard to avoid because they fire in a straight line. Hers slightly more because if they're, the middle one goes straight, obviously, but the left and right one go to the side, so if you're sprinting to the side, you might get hit by it, but it's not, it's whatever, honestly. Overall, pretty easy fight. I'm pretty sure in this run, the hardest encounters were the Keeper of the Old Lords Defiled, Thumerian Descendant, and Watchdogs in Defiled. Those are the three, obviously the harder Thumerian Descendant. Those are the three hardest ones. I'm not sure which one I would rank as the hardest. Keeper of the Old Lords was probably the hardest because of how fast that boss can move and some of the attacks being one-shots. After that, it might be Thumerian Descendant. I did not honestly find Watchdogs terribly difficult. He just had a shit ton of health and couldn't be staggered as consistently as the other two. But yeah, Thumerian Queen, not really a problem. She just hung out. She did hit me with a melee attack there because I got kind of greedy and was trying to get it, and I was too far away to stop her to knock her out of that one. But whatever. I also don't remember having a problem with this fight on my very first run ages ago. I'm pretty sure this was the first try whenever I had like a normal character, but again, that was, however many years ago. When did this game come out? 1996 or some shit? It's been forever since this game came out, and I did the Chalices on my first playthrough, so however long that's been. But yeah, overall, I'm happy to be done with the Fist of Gratia. I'm sure now I'm going to get jokes from JK and maybe some comments like, hey, do it again, all of it, but blood level 4. And I'm going to be like, ha, go fuck yourself. Not happening. Finally, my gratitude has been repaid, and this weapon can be laid to rest. No more will it taunt me. Hey, wait, what's that music?
Oh, hi, Doom.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this week's video. This was a wild one. It was kind of fun, but not in the normal, oh, I enjoyed this way. No, more like in the oh, it's finally over kind of way. I mean, I didn't really mind it as much as I thought I would. JK really made it out to be like this was going to be the toughest thing I'd ever done, and it's not. I mean, it was one of the most boring things I've ever done, I guess, but it wasn't terribly hard. Some of the fights took a while, but then I walked forward and hit L2, and that's it. That's the entire fight, right? It was cool to find the strat, air quotes, for Bloodletting Beast, but other than that, I don't really have anything to say. I talked this whole time, and now I'm talking some more. Oh, look, Hunter W. Congratulations on being this week's Grand Champion.